First, let me note that we Americans have been blessed by a truly beautiful land. This magnificent scenery is just one very small part of this our very big and magnificent land. Also, I have to say that we Americans have been blessed by our Constitution that I consider as being the most inspired Constitution in the history of mankind. And I'm saying so after studying many different constitutions. Also, I think my presence in America is an attest to the Constitution, to our Constitution. In fact, I am the son of a late medical doctor in Italy. I achieved in Europe the highest possible postdoctoral education in mathematics and physics. I had a chair in nuclear physics at the Avogadro Institute. I was married with a beautiful old daughter. We had an Italian sports car, an Alfa Romeo Sprint Speciale by Bertone. I had no need whatsoever of coming to the United States of America. So the question is why I am in America? Well, I am in America because I loved the American way of life, but above all, I love the American Constitution, because the American Constitution gave me the dream of fulfilling my research objectives. This was some 50 years ago. I can attest that indeed my objectives have been achieved thanks to the diversity of the complexity of the country, as well as the unlimited capability that are offered to everybody with goodwill and sincere love for the country. After having said so, however, it is my very sad duty to bring to your attention what everybody knows, that our environment is decaying very rapidly. This beautiful island, the Three Rooka Bars, with full of thousands of birds, have been were at the edge of destruction only a few months ago due to the oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Because of the distance from the oil spill, because of the currents and other reasons, thanks God, this magnificent act of creation that inspires me all sorts of religious sentiments, because of the beauty, it was saved. But for how long? When will be the next? Also, as of today, May 11, 2011, let's look around. The Mississippi is one of the highest flooding action in history, by delivering in the Gulf of Mexico 20 million gallons per second. 20 million gallons of rainwaters per second. This is an unprecedented flood, and that has to be kept in mind. Also, only a few months ago, here, not that far from the Three Rooka Bars, 328 Americans died because of one single episode of tornadoes. Just one single episode. 328 magnificent Americans died. Ladies and gentlemen, how many Americans died a year ago? How many Americans died 2 years ago, 3 years ago, for the same, just for tornadoes alone? You don't have to be a PhD in ecology to see that there is a dramatic increase in tornado activity in the southern belt. This is due to an increasing difference in temperature of the Pacific Ocean compared to the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is being cooled by the melting of the ice. Pacific instead is very big and remains essentially at the same temperature. This causes a significant progressive increase of the wind from the Pacific toward the Atlantic. Now, the point that we Americans have to face squarely if we want to call ourselves Americans, namely, what is the trend? The trend is extremely clear. It's close to an exponential increase of devastation caused by tornadoes. All projections that I know predict that the southern belt of the entire American land will be uninhabitable. Only when is debatable. Is next generation, 2 generations? That I do not know. But the trend is incontrovertible. Because when we reach 10,000 people dying because of tornadoes per year, Then of course the land becomes, and the floods are absolutely prevent any human activity. Then the land has to be abandoned. So the prevision is that the entire southern belt of America has to be abandoned. We are talking about the removal somewhere in America or the rest of the world. Over 100 million Americans have to be placed somewhere else. I could go on and on and on the situation that we have to face. The most insidious aspect is that the deterioration of the environment is very slow. Per each year there is a small deterioration. The problem, however, is that usually they accumulate, and then once they start to grow exponentially, they are uncontainable. I have to denounce, for instance, what I hear in a number of TV stations, people laughing against the global warming in the environment when there is a major freeze. The same people are completely silent in the summer when there are peak, very high temperature causing flood and all sort of devastation. Including fires. Today there is here, you can see the haze. The atmosphere is usually pristine here. It's unbelievably clean. Not today, because there is a big fire somewhere in Alabama, another one in Florida, and so on. So we have to stop doing this type of hypocrisy and laughing at our environmental problem. This is an irresponsible behavior. As an American citizen, I must condemn. I must do it for my children, for my grandchildren. There is an additional frightening environmental problem that also has to be addressed, and that is the potential connection, the possible connection between this increasing number of devastating earthquakes with the ecology. Now, usually the people who do not believe in the influence of the ecology will laugh. I don't think that is a serious behavior. Serious people will investigate the issue, will analyze all facts, and then express judgment. What is the evidence? The evidence is the melting of the ice in the North Pole in a disproportionate amount. What does this mean? It means that an enormous amount of ice has been turned into water, as everybody knows. Question, what does this water, what is the effect of this water in the planet? It is evident, ladies and gentlemen, it increases the pressure on the tectonic plates. And since the equilibrium of tectonic plates is very delicate, there is a serious possibility indeed that an increase of the weight of the water, especially at the equator, may trigger unprecedented earthquakes. Keep in mind that the increase of the water level at the North Pole will never be seen. Because of the centrifugal force of Earth, the water will essentially reach the tropical and the equatorial part of the Earth. So that is the part of the Earth which is most affected. It's expected to be most affected by devastating earthquakes. Japan, this horrendous disaster in Japan against the beautiful Japanese people. So many tens of thousands of them have died. This is the horrendous radioactive disaster. Yes, there is a realistic possibility that is linked to the environment.